Hello everyone, sorry for that rather abrupt cut. That person I was talking about came home and did not want their voice on camera. So I will have to edit that part of the video. Ugh. So finally made public my Evil Within 1 review and actually got some comments, which is great. I just hope the newcomers do not get scared off by the non-Evil Within content. I do like doing the game reviews, I think, the most. Like, I like stuff like this too, but it's time-consuming, takes a lot of effort to set up, and can be kind of hard to, like, think of what to talk about and all that. Ugh. Like, part of me wonders if I should speed up part of the video, but, like, I feel like that kind of ruins the point. Like, if there's like a bunch of other sped up videos you can watch of, like, diamond paintings and stuff. I got a lottery ticket yesterday and actually hit the, you know, one of those, win all things. And, like, you know, the first time I actually get a win all, and it's every amount on the card is under $4. So, did not overall win that much money, but extra funds, always nice. Thinking I might pick up some games from either PSN or the Switch shop. Continuing on with PSN talk, like, is anyone else just, like, really aggravated with these people? Like, the whole thing with the store closure, which I think I talked about with the stickers. I might have talked about it with this, I don't even remember anymore. But, like, a couple months back they said, oh yeah, we're closing down the PSN store for older consoles in, like, a month or two, and a bunch of games would be gone forever, and they had developers that were still making games. And it was just a whole big mess. And, like, people were spending hundreds of dollars on the store trying to grab titles that would be gone forever. And yeah, it was terrible. But, like, that's not the only problem that site has. Like, they took all of the, like, non-PS4 and 5 stuff off the online store, too. So, like, I had, like, a bunch of games in my wish list that are gone now. That's really annoying. And, like, wish listing, that's the other thing. Like, I'm on the eShop for Switch. I can wish list games. Nice and easy. Now, they don't have a cart on the eShop, which I do find rather annoying. But you get, like, you get gold points for everything you buy. And you can use those to make other games you get cheaper. And then you have PSN, where you can't wishlist anything. And I don't understand why. Like, even on the newer consoles, you can't wishlist stuff. And it's like, you guys realize, when you wishlist stuff, we can buy it. I'm gonna readjust this little diamond. These two ended up, like, stuck together, so they were, like, wedging each other out. But yeah, so you can't wishlist items. So I was like trying to, so the only way you can come close to wishlisting is just stuff everything in your cart. You can wishlist on the site, but then when you buy anything, you still have to go and add it to your cart manually, so. And so I figured I'll put everything in my cart currently on my wish list, only to find out you can't add anything to the wish list online from your cart. You have to, again, physically search out every game and manually add it to your list. And it's just like, why? Why make it so much more difficult than it needs to be? Oh my gosh, the freaking blue rhinestone. I have to manually pick that up. There we go. I think this is still coming out nicely, but it is still taking forever. And I haven't even gotten to the tiny ones yet. But yeah, so that was a big annoyance. I did grab a game off the Switch because I had like $3 or something. It's like called like Tiny Places. It's like a spot the difference game. But they give you like these dioramas. Gosh, where did that rhinestone I just dropped go? It's probably stuck on here somewhere. I'll just find it later. But yeah, so it gives you these dioramas and you have to spot the difference. And like, I think visually it's pretty impressive. It's got some nice sound effects. Only real complaint for me would be that like a lot of the differences are kind of like, oh, this item is bigger than it's supposed to be in the other picture, and that can be really hard to spot, but it also makes other things look different. Like, it casts a shadow on another item, and that shadow is now is different from the shadow on the other thing. So you might think, oh, well, the thing with the shadow cast on it is now a difference. But it isn't. So, like, stuff like that's not great. There's also no hidden button, so if you get stuck, you're pretty much doomed. There's so far only 5 differences per picture, and I'm not fully sure how many pictures there are. I heard people say 50, but it seems like there's more than 50 based on the main menu. I think I mentioned this in maybe in the sticker video, but one of my favorite games is Siberia. So I had bought the copy for the Switch digitally, and then ended up rebuying it with the 1 and 2 pack, because 2 is never on sale, so like the cheapest way to get 2 would be to just rebuy 1, and it was really cheap. And then of course, today I noticed 2 is finally on sale, so that's annoying. I still have both of them installed, and I don't know which one. Like, I mean, I know which one I have to uninstall, because it's a huge file, but oh my gosh, keep knocking the thing out of frame. Ugh. So, yeah, I'm looking at a lot of random Switch games as well, but I'm a lot worse at remembering their titles. A lot of the games I look at on there tend to be like really obscure indie stuff. Oh, that reminds me of what else I noticed. Like, horror is not considered a genre to these people. Like, if you go to the genre section of PSN, horror is not on there. You know, you can search, if you go to like the game section in general and you click on the genre, you can get horror there, but that's the only way. And on eShop, there's just no horror category. Like, they got a lot of obscure horror games on there, and you can't just easily find them, so you just have to like get lucky. And if you try and like look up, oh, what are horror games for the Switch, you'll mostly just get the horror games like everyone knows about, like Resident Evil and like Outlast. Yeah. I've actually never played or wanted to play Outlast. It's like too much of like, seems like it's too much of like grotesque horror for me, which I'm not as into. I know that might seem silly, but I think I'm more into atmospheric horror, which is why I really need to find an excuse to do my Resident Evil videos. I'm a pretty big fan of the Resident Evil series. I have mixed feelings about a lot of the recent entries. More or less enjoyed Village, though. Freaking elevator rides, though. That actually got mentioned in the Evil Within review. Like, I'd almost rather have a loading screen. At least we're almost nearly done with this one section of blue. I actually first got into horror games via Resident Evil. My family finally got a PlayStation years after everyone else. I was mostly into fighting games at that point, and sorry, the ear has kicked on yet again. I started recording this the minute it turned off, but what can you do? Oh, we're done with that one section of blue. Hooray. So, we got the first Resident Evil for PlayStation. It was one of the games that my dad had gotten for himself, and then I ended up enjoying it. And then I saw an ad in, I think it was Game Informer, for Silent Hill, which was described as very Resident Evil-like, but it had like, it seemed to have more unique characters. Like, that's one thing I don't overall like about Resident Evil, is that it feels like it's mostly just like people that are part of organizations and stuff, as opposed to just like people, like civilians. It's probably why I like Resident Evil 2 so much. These gems look green with this lighting, at least based on my view of the screen. So I ended up getting and enjoying Silent Hill. I did not fully understand the plot at the time. I think I was on the younger side when I played it. Also saw an ad for Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within, which got me into the Clock Tower series. I've got to do a video on those at some point. But overall, a big fan of Clock Tower. Still bummed that we never got the very first game. Like, they could have ported that to the 3DS. It's a point-and-click game. And the 3DS needed more horror games. I don't even know if they still release games for the 3DS. Other games that I play. I remember I was terrified of Nightmare Creatures as a kid. I've also played a game I bet none of you have heard of called Soul of the Samurai. That is also a horror game. It's like Resident Evil, but in feudal Japan. It's not like the best game, but I have a fondness for it. Some of the other older horror games. I thought Siren was pretty good. I have Forbidden Siren 2, but I've never been able to play it. Still have not figured out how to get imports working on my console. And gosh, I got 2 rhinestones stuck together again. I really should just do these pink ones. But I don't want to make myself more confused. Played Siren Blood Curse. Did not really care for it. I don't know what it is with games feeling like they have to be way too dark visually and not having any real story to them anymore. I miss when, you used to be able to examine things in horror games. And when, you used to get, a lot of files and they'd really develop the world and the characters. It feels like horror games just don't care as much about doing that. You need to make me care about the people. That's one of my complaints about Village, too. I gotta figure out what format I want to use for talking in depth about the Resident Evil games. Because I don't want to do it with something like this, because I don't think these kind of videos appeal to everyone. Talking about zombies while doing a sparkly unicorn painting. But, I guess I could just do, another review. Those review videos, though, are, really hard to make. Because, I want to put, footage to them, but actually getting and editing all that game footage is so time-consuming. And I feel like visually it can often, the quality can drop the more you, edit it and whatnot. I think that ended up happening with my Evil Within video. I put together all that footage, but I don't think the quality of the actual footage turned out that great. Oof. I have a lot of horror games on backlog I still need to play, like the dreaded Resident Evil 6. Well, I more need to finish that. I started playing the one character scenario, and it's filled with spoilers. I know all the spoilers for 6 going in, but that character is unlocked from the start in the PS4 version, so you'd think they'd have a warning, yeah, you should probably not play this before the other characters. But they don't. And then, I also need to finish Resident Evil Revelations 2. I don't really care for that one, as much as I like Claire as a protagonist. Having to switch constantly between her and Moira just to, pick up items seems like a really annoying thing. And I hate the fact that they're basically never following up on the Revelations games. I mean, we can hold out hope, but it's pretty unlikely. And then I still have Resident Evil 5 on backlog. What else? I have so many games in general on backlog, you don't even know. I was just one of those people who, as a kid, would go to the game store if I ever had any money, and I would just sit there going through the games and just grab everything that looked interesting. I still haven't beaten Parasite Eve, but I bought Parasite Eve too. Of course, because I did that, I'm going to save a fortune on trying to buy some of these games now. That was the one thing about the PSN store closing, is it really kind of opened my eyes to how much some of the games I have are worth. I bought that game for $5 and it's worth so much more now. Especially physical copies of some stuff. It's a little sad in its own way. One of the most expensive games I own is probably Roll of Rose. It's a really obscure horror game. I wish we would get more horror games like that. It's a shame we don't. It probably wouldn't be so expensive now if it had gotten more attention when it first came out. do I have that I need to play? Oh yeah, a lot of the more modern Silent Hill games. I really need to get around to beating Homecoming. I haven't even played Downpour yet, but I do have it. Oh my gosh, I think I might need more wax. Or soon, anyway. I keep wondering whether or not I should have these videos in parts or not. Because it can get difficult to come up with things to talk about. I think I mentioned this yesterday. Oh, is it the gem I lost? Oh, where did it go? Oh my gosh. These gems, they land like sideways, and when they're sideways, you just cannot see them. But I want to at least finish the blue today. These things are also sticky, and I misplaced the sheet thing too. So like, I don't want to like have it get like dirt on it or something. If you get one of these, save the sheet. That is my other tip. That, and do the outside parts first so your hands don't keep sticking to it when you're trying to do it. Let's see. Other horror games can we talk about? The guy that made Clock Tower released Nightcry. The Vita version is tragically a buggy mess. The story doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I'm so glad we got it. I hope we get more games like that. But, like, we had to wait so long for that release. And for it to come out in that shape is, like, uncool. Played Haunting Ground, did not super care for Haunting Ground. I know a lot of people like that one. I hated the dog AI. And it reminded me of Clock Tower 3 in that I feel like the villain's motivations did not really make sense with their actions in the game. I won't talk really any more about that because spoilers. Let's see, what else? Oh yeah, there was a Clock Tower fan remake that finally got released as its own game called Remothered Tormented Fathers. It wasn't a perfect game, but I enjoyed it. The sequel was broken as heck. I mean, they've at least made effort to fix it, but it is still pretty broken, which is a shame. I still have The Suffering to play. I believe that's a horror game. Oh, Illbleed. Played Illbleed. That's an obscure one. They never released that for anything other than the Dreamcast. It's very quirky. Controls are a little clunky, but I love that game. It's a shame they never ported it. I have Eternal Darkness on the backlog. But yeah, I finally played Echo Knight a while ago. It was alright. I hated that freaking casino thing you had to do. Why they thought that was a good idea, I'll never know. Like, yeah, make me play blackjack to get the good ending. That makes sense. I think I mentioned this, but one of the games I got with the summer sale was BioShock, the BioShock collection. So I will be playing through and reviewing that. I'm thinking I'm going to do Infinite first because I still remember having read up on the plot for Infinite, so it's like I want to save the game I don't really know anything about for last, which are BioShock 1 and 2. I don't really know what to expect in terms of gameplay. I may end up hating them. Let's see, what other horror games? Oh yeah, Fatal Frame. How could I forget Fatal Frame? I love Fatal Frame. I'm so happy we're finally getting Maiden of Blackwater ported to something that is not the Wii U, because I don't want to buy a Wii U for one game. I need more wax. I've heard that this version is going to be censored to some degree. I don't know what that censorship is like. I understood that why they removed the bikini costumes from as bonus costumes, because like these are like 17-year-old girls in those costumes. They're not just revealing, because like 17-year-olds wear bikinis, but like their butts are like literally hanging out of those costumes. So it's like, yeah. But like, I hated that they censored the cutscene where the one girl is wearing the swimsuit, even though the cutscene takes great care to not show anything inappropriate. And they replace it with like her normal outfit, and it kind of ruins the whole effect of the scene. Like, I can't go into too many details about that, so they've apparently added new swimsuit costumes to the upcoming port, but who knows what those will be or if they will be in the cutscene. I don't understand this obsession with censorship in these scenes. Like, it's a horror game. Like, if the costume was obscene in the cutscene, I could understand, but it isn't. Oh yeah, I played the 3DS horror game Creeping Terror, which also has some Clock Tower vibes, but is pretty not great. They needed like more to the like the story and the characters, more variety to the gameplay. Another game that features hiding and stuff that I got on Switch is called Live Stream. It's supposed to be kind of fan servicey, but it's mostly just annoying. You can get locked into a game over very easily, and there's certain items you need that you can only get at certain points for some reason. So unless you like go and you research every area you've already searched, you're probably gonna miss stuff. I was also looking at a horror game with like a weird Y title. It's like a hide and seek game. I'm probably not gonna get it currently because it's a little expensive. Yeah, I've also played Ramble, and while I've never played it directly, I've seen a bit of other people playing Little Misfortune, which is made by these same people. I think that the main characters of those games are probably some of the best horror game protagonists ever. They are just so well written and enjoyable. But tragically unfortunate little girls. I remember when I was a kid, I used to Google like horror flash games. Played some really traumatizing stuff like The Ugly and the Ex Mortis games, and like, was it Death Trap? Anyone remember those? Oh, and Arrival in Hell, of course. And oh, The House, and The House 2. I think The House is actually pretty creepy. House 2 makes way less sense, though. One game I have never played that I kind of want to is Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, that's one of those games where I've seen everything there is to see because I have watched I've watched Let's Players play them, other Let's Players. In fact, that's how I got into watching Let's Plays overall, was mostly through Five Nights at Freddy's. That's how I found, like, Markiplier and, like, Jacksepticeye. Like, years after everyone else already knew who they were. It's like, isn't that random? Well, that and, PT. I hate what they did with PT, where it's like, it's bad enough the game gets canceled, but then they go and they take the demo down so nobody can play it anymore. Like, why? Why take that experience from people? I might stop after I get the blues done. Like, as badly as I want to get this finished, I'm running out of stuff to talk about. Like, I can only go through every horror game in my collection so many times. Guess I could talk about RPGs the next time. I enjoy RPGs too. Let's see. What the heck other horror games do I have? I have I guess the, some of the Deception Trapped games also count as horror. I guess we're almost done with the blues. My back is so sore. I do these standing up. I haven't mastered recording while sitting yet. Oh. And two are stuck together. Of course, one has to flip when I place it down. Let's see. I know I have other horror games I could talk about. What else are there? It's frustrating that I can't think of anything. Like, I have played so many of them. I have to think of like a really obscure one. Constantly forget the other Dreamcast ones I have. Like, I know I have one other Dream one. I think it's Carrier. I haven't played that one yet. Probably will come to me when I'm done recording the video. But yeah, I think we'll stop with Blue, and then for the next part, we'll talk about RPGs maybe. So if you like RPGs or just enjoy seeing me put rhinestones on a unicorn, yeah. Oh my gosh, they're all falling. Only 3 more. You can tune in for that one. One more. And there we go. Yeah, I might actually make this part one separate video. This is already 34 minutes, and I don't know how long the other one is. So this will be it for now. If there is a part 2, I hope you will tune in. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.